Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So welcome again to the clarification of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, Mother Yaśodā Binds Lord Kṛṣṇa, and verses 13 and 14. Na chantar na bahiryasya na purvam na pichaparam purvaparam bahischantar jagato ya jagachachaya tam matvatmajam avyaktam martilingam adokshajam gopiko lukhale damna babandha prakritam yatha न चांतर न बहिर्यस्य न चांतर न बहिर्यस्य न पूर्वं नापि चापरं पूर्वापरं बहिश्चान्तर जगतो य जगच्चय तं मत्वात्मजम् अव्यक्तं मर्त्यलिङ्गम् अधोक्षजं गोपिको लूखले दाम्ना बबन्ध प्राकृतं यथा. Synonym, please pay attention to the synonym. These are very, very wonderful synonyms. Because this actually the synonyms word to word describe Krishna very beautifully, and we're going to discuss them, discuss these synonyms in detail, a little bit detail. Synonym translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Na, not, cha, also, antaha, interior, na, nor, bahi, exterior, yasya, whose, na, neither, purvam, beginning, na, nor, api, indeed, cha, also, aparam, end, purvaparam, the beginning and the end, bahi, cha, antaha, the external and the internal, jagataha, of the whole cosmic manifestation, yaha, one who is, jagatchayaha, and who is everything in creation in total, and who is everything in creation in total, tam, him, matva, considering, atmajam, her own son, avyaktam, the unmanifested, martya lingam, appearing as a human being, adhokshajam, beyond sense perception. I'm repeating this, adhokshajam, beyond sense perception. Gopika, Mother Yaśodā, ulukhale, to the grinding mortar, damna, by a rope, babandha, bound, prakritam, yatha, as done to a common human child, prakritam yatha, as done to a common human child. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning and no end, no exterior and no interior, no front and no rear. In other words, He is all-pervading. Because He is not under the influence of the element of time, for Him, there is no difference between past, present, and future. He exists in His own transcendental form at all times, being absolute beyond relativity. It is very important for us to understand all the time, that Krishna is absolute beyond relativity. Being absolute beyond relativity, He is free from distinctions between cause and effect, although He is the cause and effect of everything. That unmanifested person, who is beyond the perception of the senses, had now appeared as a human child. And Mother Yaśodā, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to the wooden mortar with a rope. This is beautiful. In Bhagavad Gita 10.12, Krishna is described as a supreme Brahman, Param Brahma, Param Dhama. The word Brahma means the greatest. Krishna is greater than the greatest, being unlimited and all-pervading. How can it be possible for the all-pervading to be measured or bound? Then again, Krishna is the time factor. Therefore, He is all-pervading, not only in space, but also in time. We have measurements of time, but although we are limited by past, present, and future, for Krishna, these do not exist. Every individual person can be measured. But Krishna has already shown that although he also is an individual, the entire cosmic manifestation is within his mouth. So this happened in the previous chapter when Mother Yaśodā saw the entire creation in Krishna's mouth. The Mrid Bhakshan Leela, the Leela of eating dirt, Mrid Bhakshan Leela. I'm repeating this sentence. Every individual person can be measured, but Krishna has already shown that although he is an individual, the entire cosmic manifestation is within his mouth. All these points considered, Krishna cannot be measured. How then did Yaśodā want to measure him and bind him? We must conclude that this took place simply on the platform of pure transcendental love. This was the only cause. Advaitam achyutam anadim ananta rupam adyam purana purusham navayauvanam cha vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahma Samhita 5.33. Everything is one because Krishna is the supreme cause of everything. Everything is one because Krishna is the supreme cause of everything. Krishna cannot be measured or calculated by Vedic knowledge. Vedeshu durlabham. He is available only to devotees. Adurlabham atma bhakto. Devotees can handle him. Prabhupada uses beautifully. Devotees can handle him because they act on the basis of loving service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yas chasmi tattvataha. Thus Mother Yaśodā wanted to bind him. Thus Mother Yaśodā wanted to bind him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhaktivedanta purports ki jai. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Wonderful pastime again. Beautiful slok, beautiful purport. What can we say? Just by reading this, we get purified. And if we read this again and again and again, hear this again and again and again, what can happen to us? We can see the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master, Ishwara Puri, tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that this is the essence of Bhagavatam. And we will see that at a little later stage. So one time in Los Angeles, Prabhupada was hearing from Krishna book. Now you have to understand, Krishna book is written by Prabhupada, right? Because he wanted to give the Summum Bonum, the 10th canto, to the world before he departs. And he was not very sure whether he will be on this planet till he finishes the first 9 cantos and then the 10th canto, which is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he gave the Krishna book, and Prabhupada was, hearing from one of his disciples. One of his disciples was reading the Krishna book, and Prabhupada was, hearing that. And there was this pastime where Balram is fighting with Dvivida gorilla, and the fight is going for some time, and it is shown that sometimes gorilla is winning, sometimes Balram is winning, and of course at the end Lord Balram wins. And Prabhupada, when he was hearing this pastime, he was getting so excited. Now imagine, 70, 75-year-old man, just by reading his own book, he's getting excited. So this excitement we have to have in our lives, in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada was, just like thumping his lap, like how when the wrestlers, when they're wrestling against each other, they stomp their thighs, like this. So Prabhupada was doing that in all excitement. So in our case also, somehow we should think that, am I excited to hear this? In the first canto, we also heard that, how did the verse go? Vishwakshena kathasu notpadyed yadiratim shama eva hi kevalam. If we do everything else, but there's no attraction for hearing Krishna's story, shama eva hi kevalam. Everything is just a labor. So whatever we do, whatever activities we do, ultimately that activity should lead us to the attraction for hearing Krishna Katha. So here we are nicely hearing Krishna Katha in the association of all the devotees. in the association of Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas. When I was asked to give class today, then I saw, this verse is there. I mean, it's describing the majesty of Krishna. So, in the entire pastime before this, the sweetness of Krishna is described. And here, suddenly, the majesty of Krishna is described. Now, what's going on here? Then I remembered in Vrindavan, I heard a wonderful analogy where it was said that when in the villages, when they used to boil the milk, in the milk, when the milk is boiling and the mother is not around, they will put a few strands of dry hay, the yellowish color dry hay. And when the milk is boiling, you can see the milk boiling, but off and on you'll also see the hay coming out. When you observe the milk is boiling, but off and on the hay comes out. So this is the analogy is similar to here. The pastime is full of sweetness, full of milk boiling, but sometimes the hay comes up, which makes us understand that yes, the milk is boiling, but at the same time, Krishna is sweet. But at the same time, you have to understand that Krishna is the greatest, the greatest. Namamishwaram Satchidananda Rupam. And then Bala Gopala, the image of Bala Gopala. So yes, we want the sweetness of Bala Gopala in our hearts, but at the same time, we should understand that Krishna is the greatest. So that straw of the greatness of Krishna is coming out in between the boiling milk of sweetness of Krishna. We can understand that just by our limited sense perception, that limited objects can be bound by surrounding them on the outside. We just moved homes a couple of months ago, and all the cartons, everything was bound by tapes and ropes, and everything was outside. But how can one find a rope to bind someone who's greater than the greatest and who has no inside or outside? So then this verse establishes that Krishna pervades all space and time as well. Everything he pervades. Krishna cannot be limited by time, by past, present, or future. However, in the spiritual world, time exists. There is, of course, morning, mid-morning, there is afternoon, there is mid-afternoon, there is evening, dusk, the night falls. But in the spiritual world, time exists, but the destroying effect of time is not there. Time is there only to assist Krishna in his Leela. As we can see here, this pastime is happening throughout the day, but it starts early in the morning when Mother Yaśodā and Krishna are sleeping, and Mother Yaśodā gets up, and then Krishna gets up, he's hungry, and so on and so forth. So time is there in spiritual world only to assist Krishna in his Leela. And as we understand, it is said that time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world. So time is there, but its absence, the destroying tendency of the time is not there in the spiritual world. So in this Leela we are seeing, generally in our experience, we can see that the unlimited can bind the limited, but in this case, it's the exact opposite. The limited, Mother Yaśodā, just an ordinary mother, she's trying to bind the unlimited. The entire universe, which is created by his power, cannot bind Krishna. Then what to speak on insignificant rope, a little rope. And even our acharyas described that Mother Yaśodā did not even start with a rope. She actually started with a little silken cord which was tying her braids. So she thought, okay, like every day I help Krishna in wearing his the waist belt. Krishna every morning when he gets up, Mother Yaśodā bathes him, then he dresses him, puts ornaments on him, like his ankle bells, his bracelets, his waist belt. So every day, just little tiny stomach, tiny belly. She binds Krishna with the waist belt. But today you will see that, she won't be able to bind Krishna with the ropes of the entire village. So when we see that the entire universe which is created by Krishna cannot bind him, then what can an insignificant rope, how can it bind Krishna? And we see that in the previous chapter, Mother Yasoda saw the entire cosmos in his mouth. So Mother Yasoda, how can Mother Yasoda bind him? And then the answer is given in this verse, that Mother Yasoda is binding Krishna by the uncommon motherly love. And who thought Krishna as her son? So that's why I said, if you pay attention to the synonym, it says matva atmajam. Matva atmajam means, what does matva atmajam Prabhupada translates as? Considering her own son. So this person who has created the entire universe, Mother Yashoda is thinking matva atmajam, that this is my own son. So Krishna is all powerful, by his inconceivable energy, but yet he allows himself to be controlled by love and bound by his beloveds. Anyone can bind Krishna. Mother Yashoda is binding Krishna now. As we see, Bilomangal Thakur, he tells Krishna, okay, Krishna, you can leave my hand and run away, but I have bound you in my heart. How are you going to leave from my heart? You cannot. So this way, when the devotees bind Krishna, as one of their own, we see, when we come to Krishna consciousness, as we discussed yesterday, day before yesterday, that we consider Krishna as one of our own. We always think, oh, this is arranged by Krishna. This is Krishna's arrangement, So he's as if Krishna is arranging everyone's lives, as if he's so close. Yes, for devotee is so close. Now here, Krishna is called also Avyaktam. And this unmanifested word is one of the ISKCON jargons, the Hare Krishna jargon, where unmanifested means one who's not present, one who is present everywhere, yet he is not present. So Krishna is called Avyaktam, unmanifested, because under the control of love, he conceals his powers. He does not show his powers and appears just like a human being, Martya Lingam. Here Prabhupada translates Martya Lingam as appearing as a human being. So Krishna is concealing all his powers and appearing like a Martya Lingam. Even though he is beyond the sense perception, he is Adokshaja. He is Adokshaja, he is beyond sense perception. And this is the power of Mother Yashoda's love, that she is binding Krishna, who is aggregate of all consciousness. We have to understand, we all have consciousness, but Krishna is the sum total of all consciousness. Now Krishna is being bound by Mother Yashoda just like an ordinary child, prakritam. So Prabhupada, translates prakritam as just one ordinary child. Yes. So our Acharya has described the word adokshaja very nicely, and Prabhupada also in a couple of classes, he speaks about adokshaja. Adokshaja is made of three words, adhas, aksha, and ja. We hear the word adaksha in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Adhascha urdhvam prasaratasya tasya shaka. That adhas means the root of the material world is upside, and the branches and the tree is upside down. So adhas means something which is down, or which is suppressed. So adhas means something which is suppressed. Aksha means, of course, as we know, eyes or jurisdiction or vision, and ja means someone who's born. That's why Krishna is called Aja, and also Brahma is called Aja. So adhas, aksha, and ja. So Adokshaja, Prabhupada says that Krishna is the one who suppresses all efforts to know him, born of sensory perception, such as the senses of vision. So when we just want to see Krishna with our material vision, so born means born of ja, of sensory perception, and we want to see Krishna just by our senses, not possible. Even Krishna will suppress that effort to see him just with our ordinary senses, right? In the beginning days, devotees used to describe that when they will come to the temple and when they'll see the altar, some devotees will say, instead of seeing the lotus form of Krishna and Radharani or Gauranitai, they will see all the decoration surrounding, all the flower vases and beautiful flowers and, beautiful backdrop and all that. So even though they were looking directly at the Archa Vigraha of the Lord, what they were seeing was the ancillary aspects, the surroundings. So this way, in the beginning, when the hearts were not pure, Krishna was not revealing himself to them. Then Prabhupada also says, Adhokshaja has got one more meaning where um, uh, Krishna suppresses others, all efforts to know him by the Sanskrit word Aksha. Aksha means A to Ksha. So all the alphabets, if you are just a jnani and if you are trying to know Krishna just by your knowledge, with all the Sanskrit alphabets, with all the shlokas of Sanskrit, Krishna says, no, I will not reveal myself to you. So this is the meaning of Adhokshaja, that yes, Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto. Prabhupada quotes this Brahma Samhita verse here, that Krishna cannot be known by our sensory perception, by our jnana, by our karma. He can be known only by bhakti. Now, when we see this wonderful pastime unfolding before us, Mother Yaśodā has like caught Krishna, as we saw, Drishtva Parishramam Krishna. Krishna saw that Mother Yaśodā is putting in so much effort, Parishramam, all the effort Mother Yaśodā has put in, Krishna is caught. Now Mother Yaśodā has to find, what would I tie him to then? I have caught him, yes, but I have to tie him to something. So she did not have to look very far. The wooden grinding mortar, which was near the entrance to the courtyard, Mother said, yes, yes, this is very close. I don't have to drag Krishna very far. It's very close, but also very heavy enough to be the anchor. So Krishna will be bound by this. No, Krishna is thinking, okay, Ma is looking at the mortar. Is she thinking of tying me down? She is not tying me down, and definitely not to that. Definitely not to the mortar. But yes, she was. She was. Mother Yaśodā was not about to entertain any more nonsense. Nothing else. Enough, man, enough. So she forcibly drags Krishna just a few steps to the wooden grinding mortar. And then she says to herself, she's thinking, since Krishna, you are so fond of these mortars, because in the storeroom where the yogurt and the butter was hanging on top, again Krishna took a mortar, put it upside down, climbed on top, and he broke all the pots. And here also the mortar is lying. In the village, mortars are there everywhere. And small mortars, big mortars, large size mortars, they're everywhere. So Mother Yaśodā is thinking, because Krishna, you are so fond of the mortars, I will actually marry you to this one. Yeah, I will marry you to this one. I'll just tie you to this mortar, and you will never be able to escape from this marriage. But little did she know that this was easier said than done. Where was the rope with which to tie him? We just saw that Krishna is unlimited, not limited by time and space. And Mother Yaśodā is thinking, where can I find the rope? Because she's just thinking, he's my ordinary child. I tie, waist belt to him every day. So Mother Yaśodā doesn't have to go very far also. The mortar is very close. And then she thinks, okay, where is the rope? And then she says, yes, in my hair. Such thin waist he has got, my little Lala. So she just, unlocks her braid, and in her hair she takes out a very beautiful silken cord. And while she is doing that, Krishna is thinking, what is she trying to do? Just because I am her son does not mean that I take birth. I am Aja. I am unborn. And just because I look like a human does not mean that I am mortal. Martyalingam. No. I am not Martyalingam. Krishna is thinking, both death and time fear me. Both death and time fear me. Does my mother not fear me? Does my Yaśodā not fear me? And the Acharya says, no, she does not. She does not. So this way, in this verse, we can see that even though Krishna is not limited by time and space, Mother Yaśodā is going to take out one little silken cord from her hair braid. And then when she starts to tie Krishna around, again 2 fingers short, Then she takes out another silken cord from her braid. And then, of course, the Leela is going to unfold from here. So this way we can see that with love, Mother Yashoda is trying to bind Krishna. Wonderfully, this Leela is unfolding here. A little while ago, we had a class, an online class, and I was explaining someone. And then at the end of the class, they were asking, so what is the message from this Leela? So I said, you don't have to get message every time. Sometimes you just have to relish the Leela. The tattva is there, but sometimes we just have to relish the Leela. And like Prabhupada, he's slapping, his thighs, he's just thumping his thighs. And, Prabhupada is relishing the Leela. And so similarly, one word used here is babandha. Babandha, what Prabhupada describes babandha as bound. And then we know, we've also heard the word sambandha. Sambandha, sam means complete. Sam kirtan is complete kirtan. So that way, sambandha means we are completely bound. So when we understand that I want to follow the practice, how will we bound? How are we going to bind Krishna? Internally in our hearts. But then externally also, we have to follow the rules and regulations. Yes? Prabhupada used to say, the difficulty is that my disciples are not afraid of Maya enough. So when we understand that the material nature is relentlessly throwing all her weapons at us every minute. So externally we are protected by this hearing of Bhagavatam, by our chanting of rounds, by being in association of devotees. But even when we are doing this, Maya is still attacking us. So that's why babandha and sambandha we have to understand very carefully. That yes, how can I just be in association of devotees? Practice, externally, yes, but also internally. Do I really understand the concept of Krishna consciousness? Do I really know what Krishna consciousness means? Because if you don't pay attention to these aspects, Maya is like little water. Water, when it seeps in, slowly it will make space and go in, control everything and destroy everything. So Maya does something similar. We have to be very, very careful. Even in the association of devotees, when we are not, as Devakinandan Prabhu very rightly emphasized in his class, that when we meet, we have to be Krishna conscious, we have to be service oriented, we have to converse about Krishna. Otherwise, it's just a normal social gathering. In the 11th chapter, as I said in the beginning, that Ishwara Puri is giving the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has given the holy name to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is chanting and he's gone mad. And then Mahaprabhu comes back to Ishwara Puri and he says, what mantra have you given me? This mantra makes me mad. I'm dancing, I'm chanting, I'm singing, I'm laughing, I'm crying, everything I'm doing. And then Ishwara Puri says, yes, this is the effect of the chanting of the holy name. This is the effect of studying Bhagavatam. And this verse he quotes from the Navyogendra's instructions to King Nimi in the 11th canto. Evam vratah swapriya nama kirtya jata anurago drita chitta uchay hasati tharodhi tirauti gayati unmadvan nityati lokabhaya. It's very, very beautiful verse. That yes, evam vratah. So someone who's engaged in this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, what has happened is that, hasati atha roditi rauti gaya. So they will hasata, laugh. Also, they will roditi, cry, becomes agitated when they're chanting unmadavata, like a mad person, nityati, dancing, lokabhaya, without caring for outsiders. So this way, we can understand when we are progressing in our bhakti, is this happening to me? I'll read the translation of this wonderful verse. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, and he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, he laughs very loudly or cries or shouts. Sometimes he sings and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. So when we, my dear friends, my dear devotees and skeptics, as Sachinandan Maharaj says, when we are chanting, we should aim that yes, it should happen to me. That when I'm chanting, are tears coming out of my eyes? Am I dancing? Am I becoming mad? So similarly, when we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, slowly, 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 our heart should get purified and we should come to this stage. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ukhal Bandhan Leela ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's just past 1. Any comments, reflections, questions? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. May you have a wonderful devotional day. Month of Kartik. Just do whatever best you can to dive deep into our devotional practices and get the utmost benefit. This Saturday is the wonderful festival of Diwali and Govardhan Puja at the temple. And as we put in the group, we need some volunteers on Friday evening from 5:30. So it'll be nice if you can come. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.